This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it. The Christie administration keeping a promise to enhance economic sustainability by launching the highly anticipated National Development Plan today at the College of the Bahamas.
Prime Minister Perry Christie initially consulted with the Inter-American Development Bank earlier this year to make the dream of successive governments a reality. And the IDB in turn granted a $450,000 grant to jumpstart this process. Altavis Munnings tells us tonight that the official report is expected to be published in about 9 months.
If it is true, how do we decide to look into that as a government and as a people?
Questions on how the Bahamas will remain economically viable once the National Development Plan is implemented was fielded by College of the Bahamas faculty and students to Minister of Finance, Prime Minister the Right Honourable Perry Christie on Monday.
That is a compelling question, and we are going to reach out to all of the political parties. We know that all political leaders are responsible persons, and they're going to understand the value of this.
But more importantly, the Prime Minister and the government in general wants to dig into the minds of college students who can provide the research and the vital information needed to propel this plan for the next 20 years.
You represent the accountability for all of us who are in positions to perform on your behalf, whether we're politicians, whether we're civil servants.
Now, this historic National Development Plan would be the first of its kind in the region by providing a comprehensive overview of the economy, maintaining policies for economic growth, and identifying strategies to enhance our fiscal health. The common denominator, though, would be public consultation.
Many of the development plans have not had that process of consultation and have not been as inclusive. And have been well put together, but they have not been inclusive and have not involved the consultation. So we believe that the approach that the government is taking here is the appropriate one.
We would like to see a roadmap to the future, a roadmap that brings prosperity to all Bahamians.
Now, you will get the opportunity to provide your input on the National Development Plan as workshops are expected to be held in a matter of months. Meanwhile, stakeholders expect the National Development Plan to officially launch in about 9 months. I'm Altavis Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Businesses have until November 30th to become registered in preparation for the implementation of value-added tax come January 1st. Members of the Private Sector Education Task Force revealed that an estimated 900 businesses have registered, but according to their records, some 5,000 businesses have yet to register. Task Force Committee member and Chamber of Commerce CEO Edison Sumner says thousands need to become compliant.
And we know that there will be a spike, we think, in the amount of registrations that are coming through over the next 2 weeks. We want to encourage businesses not to wait until the last few days to register their companies for VAT, because what we would like to see happen is for those who have begun the registration process, if they're encountering any issues with the registration or have any further concerns about VAT, we would like to know what they are so that we can advise the government appropriately of what we're hearing from the private and the business community.
Now, Sumner and fellow committee member Andrew Rogers say if businesses don't register, there can be far-reaching implications, including fines and penalties. And more importantly, for businesses that provide goods and services to government agencies, they must get registered.
Doesn't matter the size of your business or the amount of revenue that you raise annually. As long as you are doing business with the government currently, or you intend to do business with the government in the future, you will be required to register for VAT.
Your national insurance has to be in order as well. And that's an important point. So you got 3 issues there, very important to complete your registration. National insurance, a business license, and property tax.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scotterly. Commonwealth Bank's 6,000 plus shareholders will have a little more money to spend during the holidays this year when the bank issues a pre-Christmas extraordinary dividend of 6 cents per share. The holiday payout will begin November 28th and will benefit those who purchase shares prior to November 21st. Along with the regular quarterly dividends, the bank that shares 65% of its profits with shareholders will pay out a total of 30 cents per share in fiscal year 2014, nearly $30 million in value. In other business news, today Bahamar launched its new employee recruitment advertising campaign, Bahamar Nation. Leading up to its grand opening scheduled for late spring 2015, the luxury resort is ramping up its efforts to find team members from diverse backgrounds with an aptitude for hospitality. The new campaign, produced locally, features Bahamar employees in various hospitality roles. And in international news, General Motors is extending the deadline an extra month for victims of faulty ignition switches to file for compensation. The automaker came under fire last week because of the family of a Connecticut woman who died in a crash had not been notified by the company, even though GM linked her death to the faulty switches years ago. Notices about the compensation have reportedly been sent out to more than 4 million current and prior owners of Chevrolet Cobalts and other affected small cars. The new deadline is January 31st, 2015. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scotterly.
Police were busy last night investigating the circumstances of a stabbing incident which left a woman dead on the eve of her birthday.
The stabbing took place in the Kensington Gardens subdivision, and as Jared Higgs tells us tonight, police have one suspect in custody.
Police found a 21-year-old woman identified as Carmen Jean in her bedroom dead from being stabbed about her body, and officers say her boyfriend is their prime suspect. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Chief Superintendent Clayton Fernandez, says they were alerted to the apartment scene on East Street South shortly after 8 o'clock on Sunday evening.
EMS personnel was dispatched and pronounced the lifeless body of the female dead. What it is, we believe that is a domestic, but we are still following that line to confirm.
Family members mourn nearby as they tried to cope with the shocking news of the premature death of a loved one on the eve of her birthday. According to reports, Jean, who was a 2011 graduate of the government high school, would have turned 22 today. Police say it was also on the scene that they received information of the boyfriend's whereabouts.
Officers later went to Carmichael Road area where they arrested a young man in his early 30s, believed to be the boyfriend of the victim, the deceased. We suspect that it was a domestic, but we are still trying to confirm that. He is assisting police at this present time.
The 30-year-old male suspect was hiding in a home when police caught up with him. Mr. Fernando was unable to say when police expect to charge him, as he's detained in hospital with self-inflicted stab wounds. This incident marks the 103rd homicide for 2014 and once again sheds a light on the dangerous consequences of domestic violence. Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
One Family Island school is ensuring students have an appreciation for farming using a mix of old school techniques and new technology to keep them engaged. Officials at St. Andrews High School say the agricultural science program has been a success, so much so that they're now looking to expand it. Here's Cleopatra Murphy.
St. Andrews High School has a thriving and technologically driven agricultural science program that has been boosted by its partnership with the University of Vermont. Although students got a late start this semester, the farm usually puts out an impressive output of crops like tomatoes, cabbages, corn, sweet pepper, and more. The program's success is something Principal Sheena Duncombe is proud of.
We have installed hydroponic farming. We're about to get into poultry farming. That all these things are on our agenda for this upcoming year to establish a poultry unit and increase our crop production. Through the hydroponic system, we've developed like 3 different types of lettuce and that sort of stuff. So those are the things that we've been doing.
Students have taken exceptionally well to the program, taking pleasure in seeing the fruits of their labor. Agriculture teacher Trenton Durant says much of the grunt work has also been removed.
I enjoy it a whole lot simply because of the technology that is incorporated in the program, because we do know that the most challenging part in agriculture is weed management. And if you look carefully, we use a lot of ground cover that prevents the weed from growing.
In January, the University of Vermont will set up an aquaponics system. The school will cultivate fish and use their waste to help grow plants. In the past, the school has sold its produce locally, but is now looking at getting into processing, including canning and preserving.
We will be shredding and bag the cabbage, package it so that those who make in coleslaw, they could just go on the food store shelves and they pick it up and the coleslaw is ready to go.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.